Right now, it is what I like to call Summer Break Part 1. From Silverstone to Spa, there is 19 days of no on-track F1 action, and I'm already going insane waiting for the next race. But so far this season, what we have learned is McLaren look absolutely dominant, with them racking up 460 points as a constructor at the exact halfway point of the season. Meaning, if they were to do this all over again in the next 12 races, McLaren would end up with 920 points, officially becoming the constructor with the most points in history in a Formula 1 season, even beating out the 2023 Red Bull. So today I asked myself a simple question. What would the 2025 standings look like right now at the halfway point if McLaren never existed? Would Verstappen be in the driving seat for his 5th title? Could Russell be challenging him? Where a Ferrari in all of this? Well, let's go and find out. So we'll start off with the race wins, and this is probably my favourite stat with McLaren out of the way. Straight away, there's a lot that changes when we look at this stat because McLaren have won 9 of the 12 races this season, and funnily enough, the guy who collects the most out of this situation is the joint race winner leader of George Russell, going up to 4 race wins, with wins in China, Bahrain, Miami, and of course he keeps his win in Canada. Then who joins him with another 4 to their name? Well, that would be of course Max Verstappen. Keeps his Japan win, wins in Jeddah, and also keeps his win in Imola. So that now means 8 of the 12 races have been accounted for. Who wins the rest? Well, actually, Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari picks up 3 race wins. What a turnaround from the start of the season Ferrari have in this scenario. I mean, even in real life as well. Picking up wins in Monaco, Spain, and Austria. You might be thinking to yourself, who wins the last Grand Prix up for grabs? And of course, what a brilliant race this would have been if this actually happened. Of course, Nico Hülkenberg, first legit podium in Silverstone, now with both the McLarens out of the way, takes his first race win around the British Grand Prix. Nico Hülkenberg is a race winner in 2025 without the McLarens. So that means we have Russell, Verstappen, Leclerc, and Hülkenberg all with race wins. So funnily enough, we actually have the exact same amount of race winners, but the variety changes up quite a bit. Then for sprint race wins, well, one person runs away with it completely, and he is, of course, Lewis Hamilton. He keeps his Chinese sprint race win, and also now, because he came 3rd in the sprint race in Miami, he also now gets the Miami sprint race. So he is yet to get a race win with the Ferraris in a normal race, but technically that's 2 to his name on the sprints. Now for the podiums, and again, you're going to see a lot of changes because Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris love to have their 1-2s, 1-3 situations. So basically, if you're in the top 5, there's a good chance that you now had a podium. And my oh my, were there some surprising situations. First off, Kimi Antonelli in the Australian Grand Prix, the first ever race of his rookie season in F1, he actually gets his first podium with a 3rd place around Albert Park. Ocon then is the next surprise, getting 3rd place in the Chinese Grand Prix. Again, another midfield driver getting a podium. Leclerc actually picks up Ferrari's first podium much earlier in the season in Japan. Hamilton also now gets his first legitimate Ferrari podium in Bahrain. Albon gets 3rd place in Miami, picking up a podium for Williams, whilst my biggest surprise of them all, with Lance Stroll actually picking up a sprint race podium in the Miami sprint race. Albon then goes and gets another podium in Imola, and finally Hülkenberg breaks his podium curse a few race weekends earlier in Spain. So that means Hülkenberg would go get the podium in Spain, absolutely celebrations all in the Sauber garage in Spain, and then only 2 race weekends later he would get the race win as well, actually getting rid of both stats he was topping at the start of 2025. In real life, he still needs to get that race win, but hey, hopefully he can do that. Hey, you never know if there's a crazy race with Sauber. I'd be very, very surprised. More likely if Audi can sort it out themselves. So podium-wise, again, just incredible scenes. You don't get the likes of just Verstappen, Leclerc, Russell, Hamilton, Antonelli, all of those drivers on the podiums. You get a real mix of the midfield drivers getting in the midst of it all. And wow, I think I generally prefer that to the actual season we've had so far, definitely with the podiums. I mean, even with the race wins with Nico Hülkenberg. So now onto the most important part of the video, the part you have all most likely been waiting for, and that is the driver's standing. So, of course, what are the changes if we get rid of the McLaren boys, recalculate all of the race results without the McLaren boys taken into account? And well, we have quite a few shock surprises. So let me get up the table right now for you all to see. As you can see, first place Max Verstappen, no real surprises there, gaining 45 points now on 210. But the big, maybe not a surprise because we know how good his season's been, but it makes it a lot closer, is George Russell gaining 63 points, now on identical points to Verstappen. And at this point in the season, they can only be separated by second places. In this scenario, of course, both of them have 4 race wins. However, Verstappen leads on second places with 4 to Russell's 2. That is incredibly close. And I mean, hey, even in third place, we have Charles Leclerc now, who very much is closing the gap on both of them, gaining 55 points on 174. With Ferrari's resurgence, he still very much is in the battle for this season's championship as well. Then going down the order, you can see Antonelli and Albon get quite a bit closer, with Antonelli on 87 to Albon 79. However, you have to go to 8th place with Isaac Hadjar to get the first change up on the championship standings, with Hadjar gaining 25 points going up 1 position, whereas Ocon gains only 19 points going to 42, going down a position. And then straight away we see more change in the midfield, with Fernando Alonso, biggest winner in this whole situation, up to 37 points, up 2 places in the championship in 10th, with Stroll actually going down 2 as Gasly stabilizes where he would have been, but Stroll on 34 points goes down to 12th place. So it really hasn't been kind to him, even with that sprint race podium. And then the last big change for the driver standings is now Yuki Tsunoda has the edge on Liam Lawson. And surprisingly, a lot of the points come from when Yuki was in Red Bull. He gains 13 points from Red Bull with 2 for Racing Bulls, whereas it's the complete opposite for Liam Lawson, where he gained 11 in Racing Bull and only 1 for Red Bull. So it looks like potentially in this scenario, the changes are a little bit more understandable. However, also in this scenario, Verstappen's leading the championship, so Yuki on 25 compared to Verstappen's 210, almost 10 times less, is, wow, incredibly bad for the Red Bull team. Then finally, for this little experiment, we have to look at the constructors. Now, of course, there's only 9 places now with McLaren out of the way. However, is it as close as the driver's standings? Well, I can tell you, absolutely not. With Antonelli having DNF after DNF, Yuki Tsunoda and Liam Lawson not helping out Max Verstappen, it means Ferrari are doing a McLaren 2024 here, where they actually don't have any driver technically in the championship fight for now, but Ferrari gain 106 points on 328, and they have a massive gap to Mercedes, who now go up to 297. So yes, Mercedes still definitely in the fight, but Ferrari definitely in the driving seat for their first Constructor Championship, potentially since the likes of 2008. We then get Williams going above 100 points already at this part of the season, potentially looking like they could end on 200 plus points. However, sadly for Alpine, they still are trundling down in 9th place. So constructor wise, not much changes. And I mean, hey, even in the drivers at the front, realistically, bar the top 2 being super duper close, not much changes at all. So overall, honestly, it looks pretty similar. We have a championship fight up at the front between 2 very close rivals. We have a single constructor at the top running away with it, and the midfield is agonizingly close, and every race could mean the difference for all of these teams from all the way from 5th down to 8th. And like I said earlier in the video, even as a McLaren fan, it's hard to say, but this scenario does seem like it would be quite good fun. And also, I can guarantee, even in this scenario, of course, you can't take into account a lot of different things. But if we had Verstappen and Russell battling it on equal points, they definitely would have collided by now as well when both lost a few points. So I generally think it would have been a 3-way battle between Leclerc, Russell, Verstappen in this scenario, with Leclerc seemingly having the pace right now to close up on them. And Russell Verstappen, that's what we dream of championship style, because those two would be at each other all season long. But all in all, this was not meant to be. Of course, we can't just take out McLaren from the 2025 season. However, it was good fun trying to find out all of these stats and all of the differences that we could see. So thank you so much for joining me on this journey while we wait for the Belgium Grand Prix. It can't come here soon enough. But I hope you all enjoyed this fun little experiment. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week. And I'll see you all very soon.